This is Chapter 11, The Powers of Congress. This is the first discussion, Chapter 11, Introduction. Before we get into the actual powers of Congress, there's a couple of things that I want to make sure that we address, and so that we can speak the same language and so you understand exactly what we're talking about. The first one is, how do you find a part of the Constitution? We could say, well, this is found in the Constitution. Well, it can be a big document. Where exactly is it? And that is why there is such things called the Constitution Address. With this address, just as it is a mailing address can find you anywhere on planet Earth, this address can help you find things in the Constitution. Now remember that the original Constitution has 7 articles. Now the 7th article is simply where everyone said that they agreed to it and they signed it. So there are 6 articles that are part of the operation of our United States government. So the first part of a constitutional address is the article number. Remember that it is given as a Roman numeral. So if you don't know your Roman numerals, at least up to 6, you need to make sure that you get up to date on them. And actually, you should probably learn up to 27 because there's also 27 amendments to the Constitution. But articles can be lengthy things to read through. And if you're only looking for one phrase or one sentence, that can be a little bit onerous. Well, they are also broken up into sections. For example, Article 1 has 10 sections to it. So that helps you break it down a little bit more of what exactly you're talking about. But constitutionalists have also divided those sections into clauses. And these are so you can find the very specific phrase or sentence that gives the Constitution the specific power that's being addressed in the discussion. Now, we see as on the example here that the necessary and proper clause is located at Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18. So if you're writing this address down, it's the Roman numeral I for the number 1, a period, the numeral 8, and then another period, and then another numeral 18. I want to give you a little bit of heads up. The necessary and proper clause is a most definite item that you're going to have to find in the Constitution during an evaluation. I also encourage you to read through the Constitution to start to be familiar with where things are, because part of your evaluation of this chapter will be looking for things in the Constitution and being able to successfully write down their address. So that's something you want to make sure that you're being particular about. Now, for example, if you go look at Article 5, which is how the Constitution can be changed or amended, you would see that there's not a separate 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to it. So there's no need to designate a section number or a clause number for that process. So we might be doing some practice in class about this, but make sure that you are reading it on your own. Now, also to kind of set up this chapter, we want to talk about what truly can Congress do. Congress's major power is to pass laws. It does not control the police, it does not control the FBI, it does not control the ATF, it does not control the judges. All they can do is pass laws. They cannot actually ensure people obey the laws, and they cannot punish people for not obeying the laws. Those are the powers of the executive branch and the judicial branch. So while they have a most preeminent power in actually creating the laws at first that ought to be obeyed, they really don't have the power to make those laws be obeyed. So Congress only has the power to pass laws, but with the way the Constitution is structured, they also have the power to restrict the other branches of government. For example, they have the power to say yes or no to any cabinet member for the executive branch. That means that they can control who's actually doing the enforcement of the laws. They also have the power, after the president picks someone to be a judge, they have the power to say that person cannot be a judge or that person can be a judge. So they do have some sway over who gets into those positions in the executive branch and the judicial branch. This concludes the Chapter 11 introduction.